In a highly anticipated phone call between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin, a number of issues were discussed this morning, but a ceasefire with Ukraine, a permanent one, remains to be agreed. The White House claims good progress was made, and a Kremlin official says the world became a much safer place today. Vladimir Putin ordered his forces not to attack energy infrastructure in a limited 30-day agreement with Ukraine. This deal also includes a potential maritime ceasefire in the Black Sea. Russia and Ukraine agreed to exchange in a prisoner swap tomorrow, where each side would return 175 people. President Putin says he'll also return 23 wounded Ukrainian soldiers as a gesture of goodwill. But the Russian president has a list of conditions, including that the West halts military aid and intelligence information to Ukraine. That's the third part of it. Donald Trump also supported Vladimir Putin's idea, and this is the fourth part, to organise an ice hockey match between the United States and Russia. Ivor Bennett has more now from Moscow.
It's nowhere near the ceasefire that was initially discussed and what was principally the aim of this call. Donald Trump wanted Vladimir Putin to sign up to this immediate 30-day truce along the front lines, which Ukraine accepted this time last week. It's taken them this long to get down to it, but what we've got instead is a much lighter version, a ceasefire whereby Russia and Ukraine have both agreed not to strike one another's energy infrastructure, and we're told by the Kremlin that Vladimir Putin has given the necessary military order for that to happen. And I think that's because Vladimir Putin had a bit of a balancing act with this phone call. He didn't want to upset Donald Trump, of course. He didn't want to incur his wrath because Russia has a lot to gain from better relations with Washington. There is talk in the last month of potentially the US lifting sanctions on Russia, readmitting them to the G7 to make it the G8 again, a reset of relations. That is what Vladimir Putin wants. So we had to give him something. But at the same time, he wanted to emerge from this call with Russia's red lines still intact. He didn't want to give any ground on his maximalist positions, and it seems like he hasn't, because in the Kremlin's communique, there is quite a telling line, which is a bit of a refrain from Moscow. He said that, or the Kremlin said, the Russian president declared his readiness to thoroughly work out possible ways of settlement together with his American partners, which take into account the absolute need to eliminate the root causes of the crisis. That is a phrase we've heard a lot in the past week or so, because when Vladimir Putin talks about root causes, in his eyes, that is NATO's eastward expansion. It's essentially Kremlin code for saying that our security concerns need to be met, and for Ukraine never to join NATO. And I think he was probably also talking there about Russia's desire not to have any foreign troops there, any troops from NATO countries acting as peacekeepers. So it seems like Russia's red lines are intact. And the reason why Vladimir Putin is so reluctant to sign up to a straight ceasefire, of course, is because he feels he doesn't have to, whilst they have the military advantage. The longer talks go on before a ceasefire, the more gains Russia makes, and particularly in Russia's Kursk region, where it seems like Ukraine's incursion there is all but over. I think Vladimir Putin is very keen to get that secured and get that wrapped up before there's any kind of pause in the fighting. So I'd say that the Kremlin would be very pleased with the outcome of this call.